Hey everyone, this is Chris Crazy House here with some more Chris Crazy commentary. This is where I give my opinions on what's going on in pop culture and fandom, and is given to you from the perspective of someone who's not only a fan, but someone who worked in the industry as well. So today I'm going to be talking about the news that there were some script notes and some outline notes that George Lucas left to Disney when he sold the Star Wars universe to them for them to do a sequel trilogy. So we're going to be talking about that in a second. But let me just say, if you enjoy my commentary and my artwork and animation on this channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe right now. It doesn't cost you anything. Go ahead and hit that like button. And if you like it enough that you want to share it with your friends and get other people to subscribe, go ahead and share it around, and make sure you subscribe to get some more commentary from me, and also to see what I'm up to with my own art and animation in the future. If you enjoy my artwork and animation, you'll love my new Naturally Cute Fantasy coloring book. It is available now on Amazon.com, and I will post a link in the description box where you can go pick it up. It's a great gift for the holidays. I've already been selling Naturally Cute Volume 1 and 2, and I want to get some of those sales up for the brand new coloring book and let everyone know that it's out there. Make sure you go out there and spread the word. So, getting on to this latest news about Star Wars. I saw a couple of people talking about it on YouTube and on Twitter that, George Lucas, they revealed some notes that he had that he gave to Disney, and kind of like what his ideas were for a sequel trilogy for Star Wars, and we're going to talk about that right now. But let me just say this before I get to that. George Lucas and the people who worked closely with him have always had ideas for a sequel trilogy going all the way back to the early 80s when he came out with The Return of the Jedi. Okay, so rumors and ideas have been floating around for sequel trilogies and stories that happen after Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, forever. There's that whole extended universe series where, the New Republic, and you get to see Han and Leia's children grow up and become Jedi. You get to see Luke get married to, that whole story with his wife Mara Jade. Just lots of great stories that came after that in book form and comic book form. You got comic books like Star Wars Legacy, and lots of cool stuff that came out. So, these ideas have been floating around for a long time. A lot of people are acting like some of this stuff is brand new, but I know for a fact that this stuff has been around for a while. But, when Disney bought it and was going to make that the sequel trilogy, I know a lot of people were actually excited, because from what I remember, there were a lot of people who thought George Lucas had lost his touch. They weren't as big of fans of the prequel trilogy and thought his ideas and writing were a little stiff, and they wanted him to sell it. And then Disney got a hold of it, and now everyone hates that. So a lot of people are saying now, with the news of this story breaking, that they love George Lucas's notes, and Star Wars fans would have been happy had they had gotten this version of the Star Wars sequels. But just from my observation of Star Wars fandom, the words Star Wars fans and happy really don't fit into the same sentence or category. It's rare that they're happy about anything. And in fact, they can be actually pretty fickle. That's a better description of them, if anything else. Happy is definitely not a good description for them. But, I don't want to make it sound like I'm crapping on Star Wars fans, because I consider myself a Star Wars fan, not a serious one or not an obsessed one, but fan enough that I enjoyed it and it stimulated my imagination when it first came out back in the 70s and 80s. So basically, from what I see in these little script notes And people have kind of put the the cliff notes out there for people to read on. The main villains of the sequel trilogy wasn't going to be the First Order or Kylo Ren or Supreme Chancellor Snoke or whatever. It was actually going to be Darth Maul. What was going to happen was, since the Empire fell, there was going to be a power gap. And while the New Republic was trying to form, Darth Maul was going to come out of the shadows and take over all of the criminal organizations. He was basically going to become like the ultimate crime lord of all these different criminal organizations. And you kind of see this pan out in certain series like the Clone Wars, or later on in that Han Solo movie, they kind of allude to that. They even have hints of it in a lot of Darth Maul books and comics. So that's where the story was going. And then they introduce a character that he adopts named, he calls her Darth Talon. And those of us who have seen that character, she's actually a Twi'lek, one of those aliens with the tubes on their head. But he adopts her and gives her the tattoos that he has on his face. And both him and her become like the main villains for the sequel trilogy. And for those who don't know, Darth Talon was actually created for the Star Wars Legacy comic, which I thought was a very good comic book series. I really enjoyed that a lot. I thought that would have been a great sequel trilogy because it didn't really deal with a direct Skywalker lineage so much. They kind of had Skywalker ancestors in there, but it was a different story altogether. So I thought that would have been a good sequel trilogy, but they didn't want to do that. I guess it was kind of dark in some places and even kind of extremely violent in some areas as well. But they used a lot of all the Star Wars lore from both the books, the movies, and every animated show that they had. They kind of combined it all into this comic book series, and I thought that would have been a great and worthy sequel to the Star Wars trilogy. Plus, it takes place centuries later, so I thought that would have been good. But that's just my humble opinion. But in this story as well, in these new George Lucas notes, they showed that Leia was going to become or work to become the Supreme Chancellor. It was going to be revealed that she was actually the chosen one of the Skywalker lineage, and Luke was going to rebuild the Jedi Order. So just real basic stuff. Basically it was just the aftermath of the end of the Empire. Luke and Leia trying to rebuild things on both sides. Leia rebuilding the government side, and Luke rebuilding the Jedi spiritual side. And by the end, they achieved their goals. And there's some newer characters in there, obviously, to fight Darth Maul and Darth Talon. And they kind of, defeat them at the end, finally. But that was where the sequel trilogy that George, or one of the ideas that George had that he passed off to Disney, that they could have done, and just kind of threw all that out the window and went with their own thing. Now, I didn't think all the ideas from the sequel trilogy were bad. There were actually some good ideas in there that they could have expounded on, and had they been handled better, I think that they could have been something good to see. Like, I like the idea of a former stormtrooper being force sensitive and becoming a hero, or one of the heroes of the story. Like that was one of the original ideas, and that's kind of what became Finn. But you saw his, step and fetch it Sambo routine in the Star Wars sequels that never really panned out, right? So that was very disgraceful to see as a black male seeing the character of Finn. But I'll post a story that was on IGN, and you guys can go read it and let me know what you think of this sequel trilogy. Is this something you would want to see? I like the idea of the Darth Maul crime syndicate and them being the main villains. I think I would love to see something like that. I always thought Darth Maul was a cool character, and I'm glad that he just didn't die off in Phantom Menace and they did more with him. Because he's a very interesting character. I didn't think there was that much to him. I thought he just looked cool. But through Clone Wars and other things, they added so much to the character and gave him so much weight that he became a lot more interesting as time went on. So you guys let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. This is Chris Crazy House signing out. Peace.